Hi, so this is part 2 of that section 7.4 video about using the simplex method to scale up an optimization problem. Okay, so what do we have? The first part ended right here where we took a standard maximization problem and extracted from it a system of equations using slack variables. So this video I'm going to talk about how to make an initial tableau from this, all right? So the way I set it up over here, it's all ready to go. You just have to drop those coefficients into those coefficients. Can you see them all? All those coefficients, drop them into a matrix that has the fancy name tableau. And so, and we call this the initial tableau. So this is setting up the initial tableau. All right, so you just grab, if you've set up your equations in this manner, with the transposed objective function on the bottom line, then you can just pop them over here. You'll notice how I sort of have it lined up in columns already. So make sure that you're referring to all the x-coordinates, coefficients when you, for the first column, the 5, the 20, the 1, right? There's a 1 on that x. And this bottom line is different, right? It's not a constraint. It's coming from the function you're maximizing. So we put a line before we put down that bottom line there. And on the outside of the matrix, you put a little notation about what variable they stand for. So for y's, we have, you should just stop the video and do this part yourself. Come back, check that we're doing the same thing. 10, 8, 0, because there's no y's, and a -5. Okay, so again, stop the video, fill out the rest of this yourself, come back. All right, next variable is called p, not z. So there's a 56.1, there's a 1098, there is a 0 p in that one, and a -352 in that one. Now we have 3 slack variables, S1, S2, S3, and the way we've made this system of equations, we also have z involved. So we're going to have a z column, at least at first. So in the first equation, there's 1 S1, but 0 of the other 2, and 0 z's. In the second equation, there's 1 S2, but no S1s, no S3s, no z's. And in the third equation, 0 S1s, 0 S2s, 1 S3, 0 z's. What's going on in the objective function equation down here? No slack variables there, right? So remember, these are coefficients that go in front of the numbers, right? This 5 was 5 times x. So if I put a bunch of zeros here, then we could say that in that equation there is 0 times S1 plus 0 times S2 plus 0 times S3. They're in there, as long as I just put 0 coefficients in front of them. But there is 1 z, so we put a 1 there. Okay, now the usual type of augmented matrix look is on this side. Now we put the constants, which again had to be positive for this to be a standard maximization problem. The 34,000, the 200,000, the 800, and currently 0. Okay, so that would be the initial tableau for this problem. Okay, now there's a lot of row operations, equivalent row operations that go on between this initial tableau and the final tableau. That process of using equivalent row operations to get from here to that final tableau, that process is called pivoting, okay? So I'm going to make a separate video all about the pivoting, that'll be next.